What is up? I'm Sham and I'm back with a brand new track. I'm sorry the lighting sucks. I'm using another phone because my actual phone I repaired, but the front screen camera is all like weird and shaded. But we're gonna get across the same facts. I'm telling you the same story. I've got so much passion. Like before I started this stuff, I watched hundreds and hundreds of hours of film and oh my god, like I freaking love trains. I love everything I'm doing. I'm obsessed. And listen up because this is quite an eventful week I have had. So I'm simply stating the facts. You can do what you're doing, whatever it is. I'm not here to attack. I'm not here to claim I am the expert. I am one of the experts just because it comes with experience. But other people can have similar truths that differ from mine, and I can acknowledge that. I just don't want some sort of negativity or attacks. Again, I am simply living this lifestyle, which I have fully, and that's that. So we're going to start this journey in my recent segment from Houston, Texas. Just to backtrack a little bit, this started in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Train hop down to Birmingham, Alabama. That started my Southeast tour. So I went from Birmingham, Charlotte, Birmingham, Atlanta, Charlotte, Savannah, Waycross, back to Birmingham. And then from there, I went up to Chattanooga, Nashville, down to Jacksonville, Miami, back to Jacksonville, back to Waycross, Georgia, Montgomery, and then I went to New Orleans via Mobile, so I got to see the Gulf of America. If you want to call it that, I'm not here to be political. I'm just here to reference what the current facts are. Anyways, in NOLA, I went over to Houston, and now this is where we start. So hopping out of Houston, there was a severe thunderstorm. I've shown a couple clips. I was just getting battered by wind and rain. I'm not trying to seem dramatic because this is absolutely not the most intense thing I've been in my life. I am just labeling it as eventful. It is what it is, okay? So I go to the hop out spot and I'm trying to catch out heading west, which I did. I'm therefore in San Antonio. But, a good thing is to look ahead in weather, and I did, but there was only like a 20% chance. My luck. Guess what happened? Boom, I got hit. So I'm looking at the string of cars, of parked engines, of parked locomotives, and I tell myself, hey, maybe I should go in there, and thankfully I have the key. Again, I'm not going to get into those details. It is what it is. And I chilled there for a couple hours, and then near just a little bit after sunrise, saw a string of cars pulling forward, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna hop on. And just based on logistics, based on experience, I knew that, hey, at this certain point, if I head a certain way, it is going to at least get me to a certain point, okay? Hopped on, and we got to towards San Antonio, but about 50 miles outside of Houston, we side out, completely normal. I'm looking ahead, see a train. Okay, this is just normal procedure. Let it pass, we're gonna go. Except we end up staying there for almost 2 days. I am just chilling in a grainer for 2 days. Nothing you can do. It's not like this is a populated area where I can just hop off and then do something different to where I'm actually progressing. Thankfully, it was just absolute mechanical issues, and the fact that they didn't have a relief crew, meaning like a train crew can only work so many hours before they have to take so many hours off. And in general, they're going to be relieved by a certain crew. That did not happen for whatever reason. And I believe railroads are really trying to cut down on hours, cut down on workers. They're putting a lot of stress on workers, which is another reason why, if you do come across one, act chill, be personable. They already have a negative view of their company because that company, whatever railroad company they're a part of, is trying to screw them, okay? So anyways, I was able to see that through. to Eagle Pass, but we were supposed to do work in San Antonio. Now, because we were so far behind, we just ended up blasting through, and that's why I ended up in Eagle Pass, Texas. But at the same time, I was telling myself, hey, if I do get to San Antonio, there's several routes. Hey, I can go see Eagle Pass, I can go see Laredo, Corpus Christi, I can do certain routes to where I can enjoy those, get back to San Antonio, and then either head north or head west. It is what it is. I ended up in Eagle Pass, again, bypassing San Antonio. That was not the norm, that's not the plan, it's just the reality of the circumstances due to those wild mechanical issues. So I go down to Eagle Pass, and as I'm going into the yard, I notice that there's a bull. And that car, the truck, the black truck, starts following me, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, they've probably seen me. It is what it is. But before that, in Stafford, Texas, I was riding in the DPU, and I knew that it was due to inspection. So as it pulled into the yard, I had my stuff ready to go. The workers were coming my direction, so I go out the back. Now I'm hiding, maneuvering, blah, blah. But a couple minutes later, there's a worker coming on my side, and I'm looking on the other side because that's where the actual truck was. But again, they caught me because there's no way escaping when they send two workers on multiple sides. When you're seen, my philosophy is act personable, be chill. What's the point in running away? You're only going to make it that much more awkward. Soften people up, engage them. And I did so, and once again, it was successful. Train hopping in terms of getting caught is not because of some sort of lack of skill. If you do something enough mathematically, it's going to equate to the odds are going to increase to where you're going to be caught. All these famous train hoppers, hobos, vagabonds have been caught. Bulls, railroad police are fully aware of every single spot that a train can be caught. That it literally is their job. There is severe security measures, especially closer to the border. Cameras, surveillance, they rely on the public in terms of reporting, blah, blah. This is not an issue in terms of actually hurting anything. So if you think that people don't know who are in charge, you are absolutely delusional. It is what it is. So they were telling me, certain stories about crazy migrants, going inland, 200 plus people getting caught there, police chases going through the fields and stuff like that. Whatever, so I continued on, ended up in Eagle Pass, got off. But again, I got caught in the yard because I was spotted. The only ride I could find was still very visible, and it is what it is. Since I was, super chill, they decided, hey, I'm just going to give you a warning. And the benefit was actually they got me into town that much closer. Appreciate you guys. And they were telling me also the majority of people they experience are vagabonds who are unnecessarily aggressive and they're entitled. It doesn't help the cause. It just does not, to seem like you're this out of control person. So I go into Eagle Pass, spend a few days. There's a great shelter there. Shout out to you guys. And they did mention that since the Trump administration came into being, they've hardly had anybody cross the border. So I was able to enjoy those, their facilities without much struggle or anything like that. Now, when I went over to try and train hop out of Eagle Pass, which I successfully did, I was hiding my big backpack, which is super heavy, in a field a couple miles from the yard, because I would go into town, which is another 5-mile walk. What's the point in carrying everything I have? So when I was finally ready to train hop, I went to that field to gather my stuff while I was using my light, and then all of a sudden these people ran up on me, and I'm like, oh shit, wow. It was 2 National Guard soldiers, and they said, hey, we saw your light, blah, blah. I told them, hey, I'm homeless, I'm just chilling here. They were totally cool with that. Grabbed my stuff, did the 2-mile walk, down an open road, which is only really used by workers. Put myself into position, and I was just waiting for the train. One came by, it was going too fast, and then all of a sudden I start seeing these lights, and I hear this buzzing noise like a drone. And then person comes around the corner. I'm on private ranch property. They charge me. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Put my hands behind my back. They handcuffed one of my wrists, and then they start shoving me to the ground, but I'm resisting back, saying, hey, like, what's going on? Their commander, their superior, comes around the corner, and he's like, hey, chill, whatever. Talks to me, tells me, hey, you know, we have illegal immigration, blah, blah. I give him my ID. Everything comes out to be chill. And a dozen of them are there around me, and I'm just laughing. Like, that's one of the things I do, is when I'm confronted, I just laugh like hell, and I think it's really disarming, and it's worked so far, right? And nothing ends up happening, because again, I'm a legal citizen. I'm doing nothing wrong. I'm not on their property. And they go off, and they're sitting in their trucks nearby, near the road. In my mind, I'm like, shit, I'm screwed. Like, how am I going to train to hop out of here? They know the spot. And again, every bull, every single government authority, they know what's up. And part of train hopping is luck. Anyways, they finally take off. A train comes by, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take the risk. Worst that can happen, they're like, okay, you're cited, blah, blah. You're in trouble, but there's nothing ever major. Okay, that's the one thing I want to tell people, is that there's never anything that is so detrimental that it's gonna freaking ruin your life. Catch the train, thankfully back to San Antonio, because that is the only route it can take. In terms of that position, it can only head east, period. And that's part of doing your research. That's part of having experience, is knowing the possible outcomes. Get to San Antonio, here I am, I'm chilling, trying to figure out where I want to go. And I know exactly where I can go in terms of being across the nation, going to Canada, whatever it is. So the issue is never about, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. This is just, it is not random at this point, again. So right now, I'm just chilling. I want to see where I want to go. And just explore, because like I'm saying, I freaking love trains. I love being a vagabond. I love meeting people reach out to me. I'm a super chill guy. I'm just doing my thing, and I am Sham, and I'm out. Peace.